Okay, welcome back to the Rock and Noel channel. Man, I got one of the can I call you a podcast OG in the FSU world?
I guess you can call me whatever you want. I've been called a lot worse, dude. I'll
I'll do
take
that.
it.
But I got Trey Roland, and we've talked for what 6, 7 years, always on Twitter or Facebook, but never like face to face in any way whatsoever. He started the Rowlcast back in 2018.
Yeah,
And then
29. Yeah, I think it was.
yeah, you started under Willie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, great fucking time to start a podcast, right,
Off
dude?
season of Willie Tiger's first year to start a podcast, man. I remember that. That was a running
Oh,
joke. But that being said, it was a successful show. He's ventured into Noles 247 and does the X's and O's. He's a great analyst there and one of the funniest dudes you'll ever meet, man. If him and I get off into a wrestling thing, it's because we're both wrestling marks also.
yes.
So that it could spiral into that. So I'm warning everybody before that. But Trey Rowland, he's bringing back the Rowlcast too. Trey really broke the mold for FSU podcasters by saying whatever is on his mind anytime. And I'm not saying where he would hurt feelings, but just Trey had a different style, and that was to bring it. And if he hurt some feelings, oh well. And I always respected that about him. So Trey, welcome to the Rock and Roll channel. I'm an honor to have you here, man.
My God, what a fucking intro,
I
brother.
worked
Much
on that,
respect.
buddy. Yeah, I
That was
worked on
good,
that.
dude. It was very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think my different style you're talking about was just being extremely unprofessional in a group of adults, and there you go. That's how I broke the mold.
No, because anyone who ever came on your show for interviews always loved being on your show.
Oh, they got the kind of all these guys are normal dudes, right? They got to kind of let loose a
Yeah.
little bit. If Jason Brown was smoking Stogs on the LA freeway, like it was good. It just everybody just wants to bro out every now and then a little bit, right? And just kind of let it hang loose. Hey, VC Noel,
That's
thank
Vince.
you. Good evening to you.
That's from Garnet and Old Vince.
Oh, what's up,
Good dude.
bud?
Good dude. No, but yeah, and you would get like local media to just let loose sometimes and say, you know what, f this, or I feel pretty good about this.
It felt nice, man. It was just,
Uh,
Josh was the first one. We had Ingram on. All these guys are like
Corey,
legitimately. They gotta be professional, respectable a little bit. But sometimes, man, when you're when you're going through some of the seasons that this football team has subjected everybody to, you gotta have a pressure release valve, or you're just gonna explode.
I
So
know.
I could be that pressure release valve for the fan base and for my other fellow media peeps.
And even on X's and O's, when you're like, yeah, that running play didn't work because our offensive line absolutely
Yeah, that's
sucks.
that's the depth of my fucking knowledge. Well, dude, those two guys, Kevin and Adam, are savants, right? So I'm just there to
You hold
like,
your
I'm
own with
just
that,
there.
man.
That now I know you're really fucking around.
I'm not.
Yeah. But no, like those guys,
You have great
they
chemistry.
just, they just, oh yeah, they're awesome dudes, man. They just need like a conduit. But that was been like a fun challenge for myself,
Mhm.
man, because I was just meathead high school football player-ish type guy. Never like
Mhm.
really broke it down. I've learned a lot with those two guys. They still like lap me, but just a cool concept, just another new challenge. It's been, I don't know how it's happened, but like being, I guess, in media or whatever is like a side gig. It's nuts, dude. It's really fun. I don't know. I still don't know how the how it all went down, but it's
Make
kind of cool, right? I don't
you
know.
make jokes about your podcast, but you ended up on those 247.
I
They didn't see
know.
something in you. And Newberg would make countless appearances on your show.
Oh, he's a good guy. I think
Yeah,
I don't want to break any. I want to get him. Obviously, he's on another like company or whatever.
thanks
Like,
so much.
I got to get him back, right? For
Of
the
course.
revamped Rollcast. It's got to be me and Josh again for a little bit, huh?
My friend Myron, who wrote big fan of X's, Knowles, and Trey, but I know he
Oh,
misses being in Florida though.
I now listen. I am very sensitive to swamp ass, so I do miss a lot of
Mm,
stuff about Florida.
highest
But
time of year.
dude, it's tough to, yeah. This is the epicenter of the swamp bass
Oh,
epidemic. I haven't been, and my family, like I still have family in Tallahassee.
mhm,
I haven't been to a Florida State game in person in a
wow.
long time. So I miss that
Mhm.
experience, man. Because I got buddies in Georgia and Florida that are still going, and I get the FOMO. The FOMO is ridiculous. So I miss that. I miss that experience, dude. That
Right.
Tallahassee, one of a kind, southeastern dominant tailgate football experience, man. So I will get down there. I don't know when because I have 3 kids and I don't have a life of my own right now. But when I do get my life back a little bit, I need to be there mixing it up with the people.
You know what? If we join the Big Ten, we'll come to you.
Oh yeah, Bush Light on me, man. The
Bush-
Iowa people, they will surprise. So hospitable. The Florida
Yes.
State fans will have a blast. It'll be great.
Midwesterners in general.
Great. Salt of the earth, legit. Salt of the
I went
earth.
to a Michigan hockey game this year. I ended up BSing with the guy next to me.
Yeah.
I told him I was a Nole, and he was like, "Please join our conference." And it's not like they need the revenue, Michigan. Like,
They know. They
he was
want
like,
us.
"What a fit you guys would be. Love to have you. We don't want that Miami school."
Oh,
Like,
it's still
he said that.
fuck
He said,
Miami.
"We don't want Miami." And then he said, "But I'm afraid we might go after them." I said, "Name one school in your conference that has it doesn't have an on-campus stadium." He goes, "Great point." But he goes, "We'd love to have Florida State." Like, he could not have. I felt like I was on a recruiting visit.
The Midwestern people are a great judge of character because the dirty little secret for like Iowa fans in general is they fucking despise the University of Florida and their fans because they played each other in the Outback Bowl like ad infinitum, right? Like over and over and over again because Iowa travels.
Right.
They don't like it, dude. They don't.
I've told that by Iowa.
Yeah, like legit. They came to me. It's like, you one of them? I was like, well, number one, you're coming at me a little aggressive, but no, I'm the other Florida school. They're like, all right, you're cool. I was like, all right. They not a fan, dude.
I was on an elevator in Orlando. They were there the year after. They had the issues with Florida. And I said, well, good luck in your bowl game. And they saw my hat and they said, thank God you don't like the people from last year. They were the worst. We came here for a nice Orlando vacation and a football game. And
they ruined it.
They ruined it. I was like, wow. And this was like 20 years ago. Like,
and you know how much of a piece of shit you got to be to make Iowa people complain about you? They're saints, dude. They'll be throwing beers at you at their tailgate. They're awesome, man. But no, they're not a fan.
They said they made that trip a miserable experience for them.
And dude, the cool thing about Iowa is that Florida State's like Switzerland. Nobody's got beef with us up there. The closest you have to beef is like Iowa State because the Seneca Wallace game back in like 2002. They think they won. They didn't win. That guy didn't get he didn't get in the end zone. We all know that. But they got no beef. And the thing about it is like all like my boss and like all those people, they all used to have like all the FSU starter gear in like 95 and 96, like back when it was like shit. Like, oh yeah, dude, my boss is like, I legitimately had multiple Florida State like winter jackets with no connection other than we were cool. So we got no beef with anybody up here. We'd fit in like
Big Ten. I'm sorry, every Big Ten market I was at last year, all said to me, "We want you guys." They didn't say, "Yeah, bring Clemson with you," or "We want that school too." They were like, "You guys belong with us."
Yeah, dude, we're the hot bitch. They want a little bit. We're a hot ass bitch, dude. They still want it even after 2-10.
The Minnesota fan came up to me and said, "Listen, if I had a second school as Florida State, we got to get you here. We can even get you a hockey team started at some point."
Even the Gophers, look at that. They're throwing in all
Gophers were throwing offers.
Oh my God.
And I was like, "You really think?" He goes, "You'll start a club." Like, he was breaking down how it was going to work. He's like, "Listen, man, you're killing it in the NHL. We could bring hockey to Florida."
like you're the negotiator.
I know. I really felt like that. He goes, "You'll start a club a couple of years. We'll build up your numbers. You already have a club team, actually. So
thanks, man. I'm going to drink this beer now. This is getting a little too intense, right?
I know, man. I was loving that, man. I was like, I can do some hockey.
Well, hopefully this year goes a little bit better so that we still get all those all those DMs from all the Big Ten teams.
I know. I mean, listen, I don't think record like makes or break us getting there. I don't think last year helped us.
No.
Perception is important too.
It didn't help a lot of things in my life, man. I had to instant react after that horse shit every single week. It was bad, dude. And I'm a pretty verbose guy.
But fair.
I ran out of adjectives for shit. I had nothing else. I was like, I got nothing, dude. I'm hitting the thesaurus.
So did the
yeah, we got nothing, man. So I think it'll be better than that. I don't at this point though, I don't know by how much, man. There's so many unknowns just all over the board. It's an intriguing year. Like I'm sure we'll talk through it. We'll talk it out, but man, there's a lot of ways this thing can go, brother.
I just wanted to go one of two ways. Either we're in the right direction again, or we need to find a new coach. I don't want to be in that middle
Yeah, the
Where
Dolphins. As a Dolphins fan, that's like Dolphins territory. Yeah,
like
I
we're not
know
even a
that.
wild card team. Where you're like that wild card team that doesn't get that high enough draft pick, but you can't get past the
Yeah,
wild
you're
card.
picking 17th in the draft for the past like 30 years. Yeah, I
Right.
get it, dude.
You're never gonna get a franchise player.
No, no.
Dolphins don't even get that. Like, but yeah, you're right. And after today with the Dolphins, but I just want to know one way or another. I don't want to go through another offseason wondering can he turn things around. I just want
I
to know.
I think you will, and it was something I workshopped on the old on the zombified revamped Rowlcast. This is going to be the post nut clarity year for Florida State, dude. We've
Right on.
had some bad, we've had some good, but this is going to be the one. Like, where is it going to go? Like, what is the ultimate tenure? What is the ultimate judge of Mike Norvell at Florida State going to be? I think this is going to be the year that tells you, like, is this going to be good enough? Will this be good enough? You have seen a nice little uptick in the recruiting. That's nice to show signs of life. You still, the premium positions, the offensive tackle, the edge. I mean, the stuff where the supply and demand, where that supply is really limited, Florida State does still seem to struggle. The cycle's not over, yada, yada, yada. So it is nice to see some signs of life there. But the draw for like a Mike Norvell program, especially after what we came through, was like competency, right? Always competent, well coached, like ready to go, never in
Extremely
over his
oriented.
head. I don't think the reason why this 2024 football season had like this weird delayed reaction of being processed, like people, I felt like it built, dude. They got like, they were more pissed in March than they were in like January because there was
So
like a
that
shock
Jeff Cameron
factor.
said. He's like,
Yeah, I
in the
think he's
season you were
right.
kind of in shock, and then as it's worn on more, you get more pissed off.
Yeah,
I was
well,
over it. I'm still over it, but I'm not happy about it, but I'm over it.
it's still, I just didn't think he had that club in his bag, dude. It's like seeing like when a PGA like golfer like duffs a shot like you would with like your friends like ripping
Right.
beers. It was like I didn't think that guy was capable of that. I
It's
didn't think
more than
Mike
just the
Norvell
NFL.
as a
Yeah.
coach was capable of taking a roster that was not a cheap to assemble roster. You're talking like a top 12, top
Yeah.
15, whatever like roster spend. And bro, you scraped for 2 wins. Like that Cal game was not a
Was a
runaway,
one
right?
double A school.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Yeah.
was some
Awesome.
ITT Tech.
Awesome.
I don't know, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I don't think anyone saw it. Like I told somebody today, the manager of the Wawa I go to always asks me to talk Florida State football,
Oh, okay.
and it's awesome. And I'll end up when I'm supposed to go in for 5 minutes to get a iced tea, we end up talking for 20, 25 minutes.
There you
And
go.
he goes to me, he said something like, "Man, you called it last year." I said, "No, I didn't.
I,
Nobody did."
I was
I,
gonna say,
s-
God
I
bless you if you
said,
did, brother.
"Nobody did. I never saw that coming. I just realized after week 2 it was not going to get any better."
No, and it was the magnitude of the misses on the evals, man. Like just with the offensive line, and we kind of saw it a little bit with like the tape of a TJ Ferguson, right? Like we watched this tape on X's and Noles, and of course we gave the coaches the benefit of the doubt because they'd always been very up to that point. They'd always been very accurate in their analysis of the team. What they thought in 2021
Yeah.
was largely how they were 22, 23, like they were on. And
Yeah.
you got to give them the benefit of the doubt at that point. But we watched that film when he was at Alabama playing USF, and it was fucking atrocious. Like it was bad. Like the kid was big, he was athletic,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't there. And that was like one of your stalwart guards. You know what I mean? Like that was one of your guys. The development stalled. They missed on I don't know. Like as far as the transfers they hit on, like
No one.
I think Lola Haya was a solid like rotational
That's true.
piece, but
That's
I
true.
don't. But who fucking cares at that point, right?
I know.
That
I
like
know. That's a
if
good point.
that's the only win you can come up with, they missed on the receivers. I mean, I think Jalen Lucas, the kid from Indiana, would have had a really nice year, and I think he will have a nice year this year. That kid did have some pop and some
Yeah.
explosivity, but it was just at that point, man, the quarterback, the linemen, the wide receivers, it was just the worst offense in the country to
One of the
watch
worst of
and
all
to
time.
experience, which is
I mean,
it's
I knew things
crazy.
were bad when after the first game when they said, "Yeah, we forgot to put Jalen Lucas back in the game against Georgia Tech."
I thought it was just bad when they couldn't fucking block counter, dude. Like
Well, that too.
we had to watch the film. They forgot how to
That's his
block
bread and butter.
counter. like over and over and over again. Like the wrong reads would be made. There was no continuity. The running backs, which have always been a staple of Mike Norvell, somehow made the offensive line look worse. That's honestly a storyline nobody talked about. Is the running backs took a bad offensive line and made them tragic. It was nuts, man. From a guy who has shown to have competent offenses year after year after year.
Yeah.
I will say the one thing, and it's got to be. It's got to come back this year for them to have any semblance of success. Is the dirty little secret of 2023 is their running game kind of sucked too. Then it was just Trey Benson kind of bailed them out with all the explosives.
Right.
But
yeah,
Adam called it. Adam called it like game 3, right? Like obviously you exploded against LSU and you kind of came back to earth. But man, they were not an efficient team. They were not consistently effective in 2023 on the ground. So at this point, I'd have to go back and look at the 2022 numbers, but you're 2 years removed from a good running attack.
I think more. 2022 is the last year. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so and if that doesn't come back with the type of team that you've assembled this year, now you've totally you switched offensive coordinators, you switched offensive line coaches, you switched like the philosophy of what you're going to do from like the run game. So I think Herb Hand has always been a very competent offensive line coach, although he's gone. So I don't know about the ceiling of the offense, but dude, you got to run the ball. And I think they will be able to run it against most of the teams. I like the revamped offensive line they got. I really like the center that they got, Pettibon. I think that kid's really good. I don't know. I just the top end talent, dude. I don't know the ceiling of what this team can be. I don't feel like it's anywhere more than like 8, like 9 if they play out of their minds. But once again, it's hard to tell. They didn't have a spring practice, bro. They hunkered down, which is so.
And I like that. I admit I did like that. I did. I know if you're the media, you want to be there. I completely get it. I don't think it was a benefit all those years.
Well, take that out of it. Take my fringe like media status. The thing that I didn't like about it is that ever since Norvell was here, he always preached transparency. I'm going to get the players on camera. That was like a benefit he was selling like transfer players. You will get access to the media and I will train you and this will like develop you as a man or blah, all that shit he said or whatever. Right. So his ethos, his personal ethos was access and transparency and accountability. Mm-hmm. And you flip on a dime.
2 and 10 changes a lot.
Which is fine.
Gus would never have come here if he allowed.
That's right, and that's neither here nor there. Just my thing is when you have these things that I thought were like core foundational principles, like if you're starting to question those, right. And like you said, 2 and 10 was more shocking to him than it was to us, right? That guy had to live it on the sideline, and he was a part of it, and he helped cause it. So I know that was shocking. But man, when I start seeing people switching on, that means you're starting to not trust your process. And if a coach doesn't, especially one that talks about process, if you don't trust how you're making the product, I don't know, man. That was a red flag to me, not just because we didn't get access. I mean, 24/7 is sourced out, man. We they have great sourcing. We still knew what was happening there, but that to me was the alarming thing as far as like coaches giving access and stuff, dude. Norvell was unique in that aspect. Most college coaches are very guarded. So if he wants to, that's fine. I get that. And that's totally within his purview to do that. So I get your point of view too.
Yeah. And the players were available every day after practice and he was transferred. Yeah. He was there. I mean, there's some coaches that you're lucky to get once a week.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
He's 4 or 5 days a week. So he was still doing the same amount of media stuff. Players were still just as available. It was just, you didn't see. And there must've been stuff that went on. And actually I did hear of a few.
Oh, okay.
Because I heard a few say, man, he should have given us a warning before this year. If you do stuff again, I have to take it away. So there was stuff, I think, when Brock Glenn was reported he was going to start the ACC title game, when you kind of were giving away the injury report before the Georgia Tech game. I mean, they were abusing the privilege a little bit too. And I remember getting pissed off during the year hearing certain things.
Yeah, I think I'd have to hear the specific examples. I know that they had a number of like rules and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not really my deal. I'm not like an on-field dude, but it is what it is. It is for better or for worse. They did it for spring. I'm guessing they'll probably do it for
There's
fall.
no way you give it back for fall.
No, it's one of those deals where it's like
What you really miss?
You don't give it back.
Install?
Yeah.
You
Huh?
miss install. You miss install.
Yeah, I
And
don't.
you can't even talk about what you saw there. So it's not like you lost tons of content.
No, and it's honestly, I kind of feel the content's been a little bit better because there was always this.
You can be more honest.
Yeah, well, at least I always was, and I know Adam and Kev were, and I would probably say the same. I would definitely say the same for Brendan and Chris and Zach and everything like that. I think it's just
But
maybe
they had the total line.
in a bit, maybe with the way that things were like worded or alluded to. So I don't know. I think it's kind of good for both, man. Just
Yeah, I agree.
They got to do their shit. They got to win or they're fired, and
Right.
we report what we got to report. So
Exactly.
I don't mind it. As somebody like you know me, dude. I like to keep everything a little loosey goosey free myself. I enjoy it. I enjoy when everybody's a little bit on edge. I thrive.
I don't want to know
like
too much the week of a game.
Oh.
I don't want to hear that Hakeem Williams looked great in 2-point drills. I don't want to hear that stuff. Like, when I heard he was doing that when he came here, I said, "Are you kidding me?"
I don't know if you ever.
I shut up about it because we started to win.
Yeah.
But then I said, "Man, it was so reverse psychology because it's like I'm gonna let you in and see everything, so you can't talk about it."
And I don't think they really saw that much either. There was only a couple.
They were there for everything.
Segments. Yeah, but there's only a couple segments that they could like.
Right.
And if you notice, like a lot of the practice reports were like, there wasn't whether it was written or unwritten. It wasn't really ever that somebody fucking sucked. It was just that guy did good, and then that guy did good.
I know, but they were a lot more generous because of that.
Yeah, I think so. There was like a symbiotic relationship. It's like totally different now. Yeah.
So I wanted to be, hey man, speak your mind. Like, you have a job to do. He has a job to do. I got tired of I'm like, all right, they're sugarcoating this player. They're sugarcoating Mike. They definitely sugarcoated the assistants. Now, I don't know. A lot of them might have sources there. But Fuller, when coaches were saying, yeah, man, media people were saying, yeah, he shouldn't get fired. But hey, there were a few of those times. So I said, all right, man, we got to start new.
That was interesting.
There's a reason why 90% of the schools don't allow it.
Well, it's gonna be different this year. That's the one thing that I know for the success. It's all kind of fucking conjecture a little bit, but it's gonna look a lot different on the defensive side for sure, man. You're going from a guy who's going to mix up a lot of multiple fronts, multiple coverages. He's going to change the picture on you on the back end from pre to post snap. Yeah. It's going to be a defense that, like you said, he ran like a lot of 3-down stuff at like Syracuse, a little bit at Nebraska. I think he'll probably primarily do more 4-down stuff. That's Tony White who we're talking about. I do. I think so.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I think I see a lot of 4-down stuff. There's going to be a lot of zone where there was man before. Obviously the 3 safeties on the field as opposed to like the three kind of like cornerback type personalities. It'll be interesting. I think the biggest thing that fans will notice is that as opposed to Adam Fuller, who was big on soaking up and like the bend don't break, and teams would have like high success rates against him. And it wasn't effective. It was like a really effective scheme in 2023, provided you have like
4 first-rounders.
7, 8 NFL guys. Jared Verse is like one of the best players in the entire NFL right now.
Fisk is not far behind now.
So it can work provided that. The problem was it was just high success rate, and you're putting a lot into the red zone. My problem with it is that, dude, offenses knew the look they were going to get. They knew the look they were going to get, and they knew that they were going to see it like 80% of the time. Like I always said on X's and Noles that it's a very honest defense. Like, I'm going to do this, and you got to try to beat it. And then the offensive coordinator said, okay, we'll just fucking beat it. Yeah. And then they beat it all the time.
The whole point is to be multiple, right?
Yeah, I think, or at least force the more difficult play. If there is an Achilles heel to like the Tony White defense, is that it can be a little bit susceptible to like explosive plays. You saw that in the Indiana game last year, and Indiana was a pretty damn good team. So I guess you could see that, but college quarterbacks forcing them to consistently make explosive plays, tough throws. Like if you can do that, kind of tip your cap. I will be interested to see how some of the guys who were recruited in that last, like the long rangy dudes that were recruited to play a lot of man, how they're going to adapt to that kind of zone scheme. Yeah. Will they have the lateral agility? I think that they will. Florida State, the defensive back recruiting has largely been good. Just the safeties, man. Like, is it going to be the year of Shaheem Brown? Will Earl Little like be what he needs to be? I just
he loves the new system. He's come out publicly a few times.
Yeah, and the coaches have had high praise for him. Very even more so than like the typical kind of coach speak. I say nothing for like 3 paragraphs bullshit. They seem to really like him. And then the kid from Houston that they got in the transfer, legit rock solid kid. He's going to
play corner, right?
He's going to play corner. Yeah, he's a great zone. Like the kid's really good. So they got pieces, dude. It's just the consistency of the pass rush. It's one of those deals. If last year taught us anything, it's if you take a guy who's in a very specific like role and like Josh Farmer and Daryl Jackson and say, hey, you guys were awesome in like spot duty, backing up Fisk and everybody else. Now you're the guys. It doesn't always equate to that level of success. So you're asking a guy like James Williams, who's your premier pass rusher, right? A guy who wasn't on the field a ton at Nebraska, was very productive when he was, but now he's your primary pass rush generator, dude. He's got to be on the field a lot longer. Like that's not a given that he does that. Like we thought with like the Cam Davis at running back, it's just a given, dude. Super high productive high school guy. Like he'll just transition will be easy.
Like a tank.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, brick shithouse, brother. Yeah. Like legitimately solid. But that's stuff that we took as like a given. It's like, of course he'll make the next step. They always make the next step.
Yeah.
When they don't, you're in big trouble.
Yeah. And when they don't do the simple things you expect out of running backs of Florida State to do.
Like, they missed a lot of holes, man.
Or I know our O-line didn't do him any favors, but I watched certain things. I'm like, he doesn't have a burst.
They just never broke any tackles. like even when the offensive line would just kind of titty grab a little bit and like hold them up for a second. And it's like, all right, you just got to make the one dude we scheme you up to miss. You need to make a miss. None of them did it. None of them really did it across the board. It was a bad room. It was just a putrid offense, man.
It's things like that. I mean, that's why I'm not throwing in the towel on Cam Davis. I'm really not.
I mean, this is so.
I mean, I'd be crazy.
This is so like soft factor, but the kid seems like an awesome kid, dude. I
met him at the spring game.
Yeah,
so polite, so respectful, so he's like, this is everything you want. This is a Mike Norvell guy.
Trapped out, bro. Mega trapped.
Yeah, dude. I was like, you're 18, 19.
Yeah, he's fucking unk status at 19, dude.
Like, oh what?
No, I want that kid to do well. We'll just see. A lot of people forget that he had that. He actually was a quarterback in high school, right? Yeah. So it wasn't a natural transition. You got Chroma coming in. The kid from Oklahoma, Sawchuck, will be nice. Well, I'm interested to see how that room shakes out. That's an interesting kind of development. Like, is Chroma going to take the reins eventually? Does he take the reins from the beginning? Does Sawchuck kind of get some of that productivity that he had early on in his career at Oklahoma that he had against us at the snack bowl we were in? Cheez-It. That was the snack.
Cheez-It bowl.
The old Cheez-It bowl. Yeah, so we'll see, man. I'm glad that the recruiting is kind of picking up because I want more energy to be injected like into the fan base, which is, dude, it's a tough ass. We've suffered through quite a bit, but it really is an intriguing year next year, man. Like there's a lot of unknowns.
We've never had a year. I don't know if we've had a year like this, man, where we just don't know. It's because it's 2-10 you're coming off we've never had. And it's 8% new roster?
There's so much turnover. I mean, it's a legitimately entirely new offensive line, minus like Richie Leonard, provided he can keep his shoulder healthy. You got 80% of your offensive line is new. Your quarterback is new. Your receivers, your starting receivers, all 3 of them are going to be new.
Landon got experience last year.
Landon will play, but like you said, Randy Pittman, that's new. Your starting running back, I don't know who the starting running back is going to be.
Nebraska's going to play, I think.
Yeah, the Oklahoma kid. So that'll be new. Yeah, it's just a lot, and it's not a
that's why I'm
complicated
going in the year with
scheme.
no expectations. That's what I told myself. No expectations.
That's probably a healthy way to look
I'd
at
be
it.
a fool to have any.
I
I can
don't
see
even
us going 2-10 again. I can see 10-2. I can see anything. I'm just gonna sit back and watch.
I
I'm
don't
done
even
with
want.
the
I know I have to. It's part of the gig where I got to give predictions and stuff. But I don't want to. You guys are
how
mean
true
when
is
I'm
this?
wrong, dude. They were mean, and everybody was wrong. But everybody forgets that they
Oh
were
man, the
wrong.
media took such a beating last year. I mean, when they were because they were hyping the team up before the year, and you know that.
It was like,
It's
well,
like
dude, hyping up, okay, 9-10 wins, and they were, dude. So, okay, so this
no,
is the one.
and I see it both ways because no
This
one's
is an interesting narrative because Brendan was like, I remember him like kind of throwing water on the party. He was talking like 8 or 9, and people were fucking mad at him for
I
saying
didn't
that.
know that.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah. Everybody forgets. Listen,
the homers.
everybody. That's the one funny thing is everybody wants like the real, like tell me the truth, and then if the truth isn't good, they're like fuck you. Like I don't
I
want to hear
know.
that. but but
It's like,
then they'll say they
I'm not
wanted to
the
hear
reason the
that.
running backs couldn't run.
Because dude, we're all like, at least for myself,
Right.
I'm a psychopath. Like I'm a grad. I'm a fan. Like I get the
You're as
mentality because
diehard as
I
they
am
come.
the men.
Sorry, I
I
forgot
do.
to say that in your intro.
That's a you said it. You said more than enough. It was a wonderful
Okay, but
intro.
he's as diehard as they come, brother.
Ah, let me tell you something about this one,
Tell you
brother.
something about the Tracer.
The Tracer. Tell you something about thinking. Let me tell you something about them Seminoles. But no, dude, when you say bad stuff about the team, people take it as a personal affront. And I do because I kind of take it as a personal affront, but it's like I gotta be
I
honest,
don't.
right? That's the only
Yeah.
thing. That's the only thing that I have. I don't have a lot of savvy.
Yeah.
I'm like, but hey, if people know, and that's kind of what I tried to do with my own show and what I've tried to do when I was at Tomahawk Nation and Noles 24/7. It's like, listen, you may disagree, and it may be dumb, but I'm telling you the truth, guys. I always will tell you how I feel about anything. And
Sounds
I
like a
think
family
I feel like that's led me okay. Like I've been doing good. I get to
No,
come
no,
on
you're
fun
always
shows
like,
like this, you know what I
yeah, yeah.
mean?
That's how it should be. But like, listen, I've always said, man, NFL guys give them whatever crap they deserve because they're paid highly. College guys for the longest time weren't. They're amateurs. It's like cut them some
It's
slack.
different. It's different
No,
now, yeah.
if I see Micah Pettis play bad, part of me is gonna say, "Oh, I remember that post of you in Vegas with your man purse and your Mercedes truck."
Is that true? There was a Merce at a truck?
Yeah, I'll
Good
send you
for
the
you.
picture. I had some friends of mine, and I'll keep them nameless,
Well,
livid about that.
well, it's
And I said,
interesting
"All right,
now.
listen, man. Imagine if you were 2021 getting
Oh,
this kind
dude.
of money, playing at Florida State or Ole Miss. You're gonna with social media, you're gonna do some things you might not do now."
Yeah, I
And
remember getting your first job and getting like 30K, and then it was like, I'm gonna get my own fucking Merce in my
oh, I know, I know. I'm going to Vegas, baby.
yeah,
But
dude, or
I said, so
Tacoma.
just
Yeah,
if he plays good, we don't care. Oh, they were
exactly.
livid. They were like, what is Mike allowing? And I was like, he can't stop that.
Well, it's a good
Yeah.
point, Jeremy, because it went from amateur, these kids are
Mhm.
getting they're getting a degree. It's like that tamps down the criticism to where it flipped to the inverse because not only are the kids getting paid, a lot of the people watching the game are giving direct donations to the kids to be played. So it's not some shadowy owner like
Right.
paying Des Bryant or something. It's you
Yeah.
paying the kid who was like ripping hookah like before the game and feeling on titties and stuff at like Pop
And
Ellie's.
then
Like, you know,
tweeting like, "We don't need you, fans." Like, oh, thank you.
it
And
just
so
it fucked the dynamic. College football, and I want to write about it at 24/7. I don't know, dude, and this is a whole nother discussion, but man, I just think college football used to be a lot better. And it's not because of the kids getting paid. I just think that the television networks have fucked everything. They fucked the regular season. This playoff stinks. Like all the rivalries are shit on. Like there's dude, it's all corporatized and it's probably got more viewers than it's ever got, right?
right.
But it's fucking different. And it's different in it was so much better when it was weird and niche and regional. And
That's
the
a
way that you picked the champion was like dumb as shit, but it was the only sport that did it that way, right? That was now you just got another like lame ass playoff. Like I loved when Florida State was maybe having an off day against like Wake Forest in Game 7, and your asshole was that tight because no matter how good the team was, you can't lose this game or your season's over.
One bad week, you're done.
Yeah, and that's why everybody's like, well, isn't it a great thing that like Notre Dame was in the playoff and Ohio State came back from, the ass beating of Michigan? I go, I guess. And it's like they were playing the best ball at the end of the year. But, dude, it is way hard. Like, if the national championship season is an entire body of work, beating every single team is so hard, dude. Manziel would have died, bro. His heart would have exploded on the field. That guy was
he already had NIL.
He was fine. Yeah.
Family.
But
he was NIL before the thing.
So an undefeated season, man, is hard. And that's why I don't know, dude. Like I said, we could get on a whole nother tangent, but I liked it the way it used to be. There's more fans of teams in it at the end, right? There's like you got Arizona State fans in it, and these so people argue that the games mean more because more teams are in it. It's like, yeah, but to get 6 more teams and only like 2 of those teams have a legitimate shot anyway, every other game before that is less meaningful. Now, by how much, that's subjective, but it's like you didn't just get those like other teams and fan bases into it for nothing. The cost of it was you'll never have a 2007 West Virginia Pitt game. You'll never have, what was that, the 2012 Iowa State, Oklahoma State game. You'll never have those like defining regular season games that people talk about just as much. There's more people that remember that like Iowa State, Oklahoma State upset than in like any of the first round playoff games this year.
I agree. There's 2 points. I think NIL is not the issue. I mean, it's getting out of hand. They have to rein it in, obviously.
Yeah.
The portal's ruined college football right now. If it was a one-time transfer, hey, you can go anywhere you want. You got one time, make it count. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But kids can transfer because it rained one day there.
It's just
so there's no like.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's an unintended consequences thing, right? It was like the coaches have freedom of movement, and coaches have been fucking over players for years, and that felt like kind of gross too. Like all the Tommy Tuberville stuff. Yeah, exactly. So you get that, and you want to have freedom of movement, but then it was just there's always the unintended consequences, man. It always goes too far, and I don't know. I like you said, maybe the answer is like you just get one and then you go, but then now they're going to be employees. It's all fucked.
Once you open Pandora's box, you can't go back.
No, and that's
the problem, and they've done that.
We're gonna have the 4 in the playoff. Now we're gonna have 8. Now we're gonna have fucking 16. Now we're gonna have the in-season tournament. It was like, dude, quit fucking with it, man. College football was. It was pure.
The best sport out there for the longest time. What gets me is I don't know. I thought about it the other day, man. I think you'll get it.
Yeah.
Like we were all right. At one time, Florida State, we were one of the top dogs. We were big school, but you could be walking before the season, and some guy next to you could be wearing some, I don't know, Illinois State shirt or Illinois. Mm-hmm. For all you know, that could be their year. They could be a Cinderella team. You never knew. You go into the year knowing we're all 0-0. Anybody could make it. Now it's going to come down to the same 3, 4, or 5 teams at the NFL.
Yeah, and the thing about it too, and it's weird for Florida State fans to be complaining about a playoff because we probably would have like a couple more national championships if there had been a playoff system. But it's just, dude, you deprive. Like, think about what was it? Was it 2007 Appalachian State, Michigan? It was like that's what the Northern Illinois Notre Dame game should have been. Like that should be
a great point.
The best thing that has ever happened to Northern Illinois, other than us ass fucking them in the Orange Bowl and making Jordan Lynch our bitch, right? that should be one of their Appalachian State moments. And it's another game, dude. You're watching Georgia Tech in Georgia in like a million overtimes in what should be one of the highest remembered. And the announcers are actively telling you, they're actively telling you, it doesn't really fucking matter. Georgia's going to the playoffs anyway. Like, I get it'd be cool for Georgia Tech. And I was like, what have you done, dude?
They did that with us the year before when we're playing Louisville and Brock Glenn and this defense that was one of the best defensive performances I've ever seen. I'm sure you would agree.
Oh, yeah. In the history of the school, dude.
In the history of the school, but in the sport, that defense statistically was up there with anybody.
Oh, and just out of control.
Freshman is playing his tail off. They're in this game and they're winning. You should be saying, "Wow, what an effort!" Like you were always raised growing up in sports too. Hey man, don't quit. Rally around teammates. Try to find a way to win. Man, this team won with odds against them, and they did it that night. And all the announcers are saying during the game was, "Well, because of Jordan Travis's injury, is it?"
Yeah,
it's like it's become agenda driven. The media, also.
It's just
ESPN has an agenda and all that. And I used to sit there and watch game day 3 hours straight. It felt like 5 minutes. Now I can't even watch 5 minutes of it.
It's gross, dude. Like I said, it's different, and it's the money, but it's the TV money. It's weird that the football, the playoff is on the one network and all these, and that network is basically shaping who is in that playoff, like from week 4 on. Like it's gross incestual bullshit, dude. It feels like Washington DC. Like it's really like weird lobbying, and
it's all political. It's all politics.
And dude, it used to be like when there was controversies, they were at least like on the field related controversies, like what was it, 2003 Auburn, they go undefeated, they don't get in the national championship. That fucking stinks. But it's like, I don't know, man. It feels different, like bad, different, like corporatized, homogenized. Like it's just they're trying to turn this beautiful, weird, regional, unique thing into just diet NFL. And some people will clap their hands like seals and they'll love it and they'll say it's never been better. And that's fine, dude. But it was better. It really was. You
can't tell me. I've lived it. Yeah. But that being said, like the recruiting we had the last month, if we had this month 15 years ago, I'm at the bar going shots for everyone. I'm going crazy. That's another thing. I used to love recruiting. I used to take signing day off from work. It was like a holiday for me.
Oh, yeah.
Now I don't even follow recruiting because this kid could sign today and be in the portal tomorrow.
Yeah, and it does kind of kill.
Be there for a year and then he's gone. There's no. I mean, I'm not excited about a recruit because let's say we offer. I'm just throwing a number. Devin Carter, $300K, which is crazy to me for a high school kid. But Ohio State decides tomorrow. We like him more. We'll give him $900. He's gone.
Yeah, it's just, and it's one of those things. I will argue that. Number one, what's happened to college football is hurt recruiting as a whole. The fact that Florida State doesn't have a staff of like great recruiters has also hurt Florida State's recruiting as a whole.
That's the top guy in charge.
Yeah, so
we can get into that. I wanted to you tee that up perfectly.
Yeah, so you go ahead. You go. Like I said, there has been a notable uptick, but then it's like, okay, what's the upper limit? Right. Is it good enough for what you want to do? Can you coach around it? A lot of people, could you make up the gaps that you are having at those really, really premium positions in the portal? Or is your first mover advantage, early adopter advantage totally eroded now? Because you're not getting your pick anymore. It's interesting. You lead the conversation. We'll get into it because it's a nuanced thing.
No, please. I like what you were saying. That's why I was going to ask you what your feeling was, your gut feeling was about Norvell going into this year. How you feel. Like right now, I've lost confidence. I saw him a couple months ago. He was down here in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. How do you look?
I mean, listen, I'm always
good, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be – they did certain things to protect him there, and I get it.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting. Like they used to just give the mic out to the crowd and let you ask questions to Mike. Not anymore. This time after you buy
screened questions.
It's even worse than where's your loyalty, Jimbo?
Yeah, our guy.
But that being said, they would after you buy your ticket, they would be like submit a question and maybe Coach Norvell will answer it. And I think they took 2 from like that and it was the most softball questions, like, which player do you think will emerge this year? Like,
how much do you like being the coach of Florida State?
Yeah. Do you like being a millionaire? Like,
what's your Guthrie's order? Like, okay, dude, this is wow, this is crazy shit.
Daryl Jackson, really a big guy, but so they made sure to protect him there.
Okay.
Alfred used to come in and talk to everybody. He kind of stayed on the side, didn't really interact, and I get it. When I went up for the picture with Mike, he just looked like he'd been through the ringer, and this is May.
He has, yeah.
He's like, "Hey, thanks for the support," and I'm like, "Oh, you need a hug, man?" Like, he got up and he didn't quite do his pep talk like he normally does, which I was happy about.
Sure, he's on edge, yeah.
But everything was, "We're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it right," and he was really pushing for, like, some more positivity on the internet. He didn't say those exact words, but you could tell.
Okay,
Like, he reads Twitter. He reads X, whatever you wanna call it, X, whatever. He reads that stuff because he was like, "This is such a special place, and unless you're a part of it, you just don't understand."
Okay.
So people like that line.
It's red meat. It's red meat for
they asked him, I tried not laughing when he was like, they were like, "Tell us about the Mike Norvell Foundation, the fund, the $4.5 million you donated."
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Like, you know what? Me and Maria just love this place so much, and we wanted to give back. And I'm like, oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah. So you want to know about his recruiting, or what I think about like his ultimate
do you think
destination?
He's gonna make it at Florida State past this year or next year? I know a lot can happen. But.
So I will say the only way that there is a path for him to make it. The only way I see that path happening is for an overachieving year, right? Like you underachieved greatly last year. You need to show that, like you said, you got to show who you are. What type of coach are you? And it's one of those deals. I wrote about it 24/7. Is that like which paths do you go? Do you try to protect your mental sanity and realize that you were a 2-win team last year and getting like 4, 5, 6 wins of an improvement is great? Like, or do you go, what the fuck am I doing here? Like I'm clapping for 7 or 8 wins at Florida State. If you would have talked to me back in like 2005, it was, I know, because I lived it when it was like 2006, 2007, when Florida State won 7 games and won their bowl game in the Almond Bowl. I thought it was the worst, most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Right.
Bro,
and now it's like, and now I'm like, man, 7 might not be terrible. And then it's like, okay, you got to separate.
After a 13-0.
Yeah, you got to separate. You got to separate.
I understand, but you set the bar high and then you drop it. It's like,
I totally agree. So that's my thing. So it's one of those deals where you can't, if you continually let like it degrade, then you eventually become that, because perception becomes reality and all that. And then, oh, damn it, you're Nebraska now. Not fun.
That's true.
Not fun at all. Or you're my dude, whatever. They're recruiting good. You're Miami. I'm sorry. Miami is still trying to get back, right? Like that's the thing. And once you're not back, there's no guarantee that you will ever get back in college football, particularly with the landscape, the conference you're in, and everything like that. So your spot on the mountain, you're fighting for it actively. And so you need to convince people that you can get Florida State to a place that you did get them to 2 years ago. To be fair, you did. Like you should have been in that 14 playoff with Jordan Travis. Who knows what would have happened, right? So you have shown the potential to do that. Now the question is,
quarterback. He's only done it once with one quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the question.
Sorry, man. It's just
no, but that's the question.
Yeah.
So you've had the potential to do that, but do you have the ability to get that concentration of talent again on your team? I think the answer is, honestly, if I had to bet, I would say no. I don't think that they overachieved this year. I feel like it's a 7-win year, 6 or 7, maybe 8. Now, of course, are you going to like, will that be enough? Like they did show some signs of life at the end of the last like high school recruiting cycle with Usman Chroma, with Kevin Wynn. So they actually showed the ability to like actually close after their worst season ever.
Javon Boggs.
Was that a blip? Yeah. Was that a blip, or can you actually carry that momentum? Are you a closing staff now? I don't know. Are you just always perpetually going to recruit at like 14 or 15, whether you're good or bad? That's just kind of where just where it shakes out. I don't know. His results would say it's the latter. That's just where he lives. Right. So I just don't think where you take the type of year that I'm projecting, plus their ability to recruit prep, at which, like I said, it has been an uptick in the month, but still the premium positions where it's like that's where those are the game-changing recruits. Those are the kids that rarely ever hit the transfer portal. They did with like Jared Verse and everything like that, but it's rare. And honestly, now when those type of edges are like hitting the portal, like the Nick Skirton kid from Purdue who went to, you didn't even get him on your campus, right? So something's off. So those game-changing, ceiling-raising recruits that take Florida State to where they need to get back to with the level of fan interest, investment in your program, stadium renovation, like Florida State, they put the money in and they're located geographically where you need to be competing for the top prize every like 4-ish years, right? At the minimum. So do I think he can do that? No. Like I said, plus just, I don't think it's gonna be an overachieving year. I don't have faith in the high school recruiting at premium positions. And I don't think that you got the juice in the transfer portal that you do anymore. Your evaluations are, like I said, we'll see with this year. They were off, and you're just also not. Are you ever going to get a Jared Verse, a Braden Fisk, and a Keon Coleman again?
Probably not.
I don't think so, man. So I just don't think. I think 2023 was the best collection of talent he'll ever have, and he won with them. He sure as hell won with them 13. I just don't think he's ever going to get that level of talent again. So if I had to project, no, I think that this year is probably, of course, dude, we're in June, July, whatever. I think that this is his last full season as a coach at Florida State. If I had to project out, like just crystal ball on it.
I'm thinking that too. And when I'm hearing my starting quarterback say, "I'm here to save coaches' jobs."
That was a fun quote. Those are some fun quotes.
I figured I'd say that for later, but I agree with you on Mike until I see something. But 1 year's not going to completely sell me either. 7-5, no. 8-4, who'd you lose to? Who'd you beat? So, I mean,
did you beat a rival? Did you beat an Alabama? Like, I agree. Win configuration is going to mean a lot this year.
And people in June and July always forget about the optics part. They only see the number win, and I get it. And then in the season go, well, I thought we'd go 7-5, but this 7-5 looks a whole lot different.
Feels different. And it a lot of it.
Like, that's why I always say it's about the optics, who you beat, who you lost to, how you lost, how you beat them. Also, I don't care about how you beat them as long as you win.
Well, that's a good point, especially now with the accelerated recruiting calendar, like wins. Yeah. Early wins and being in the conversation at the beginning of the year, I mean, a ton, man. Like, could you imagine if you're not sneaking up on Alabama anymore after all those quotes, right?
Let's talk about that in a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But imagine if you could rip off like 4 or 5 in a row or something like that. Then it's like maybe those kids that you were in their top 5, but you weren't in the top 3. Like maybe you can start to reopen some of those conversations. Florida State has a passionate fan base, and there is an appetite from the people with money to invest when there is something investable, when they know they're going to get like an ROI, right? Yeah. Like Florida State isn't the biggest, they don't have the biggest bags in the world, but they pick their spots, man. And it's like they big dig Georgia for Chroma. Like that's not nothing, right? Like they have the potential.
I got a great story for you about Chroma. I'm in New Orleans for Georgia Notre Dame. Yeah, I was vlogging that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a traffic light, and it's like 2 Georgia fans next to me. And I remember the game got delayed a day because of
yeah, that's right.
Yep. So people are walking around Bourbon Street. It was very quiet, anyway, not too depressing there. So I'm at the traffic light waiting across the street, and 2 Georgia fans next to me. And I said, "Hey, good luck tomorrow. If I had a second team, probably it'd be Georgia." Like, we were joking. He's like, "Well, who's your first?" I said, "Florida State." And he's like, can we be number 1 now? Like, and I'm laughing. I said, "No, that'll never happen. We're joking." And he goes, and then the 2 of them said, "Can we talk to you a minute?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here." And they go, "You beat us out for that running back."
Is this before it was announced, or well, these guys like?
Oh, we already got him. We already signed him. Because it was like the day before the playoff game against Notre Dame.
That's right.
We already had him. And I was like, "Really? All that talent you guys get in recruiting, and you want to come at me over one kid.
Yeah, right.
Like you don't have 18 running backs just sitting in your hotel right over there. Like
The worst thing that could happen to that fan base was actually being good, dude. Like them being they were
no, they were
I have
super nice.
buddies
They were
that live
super
in
nice.
Atlanta and it's insufferable, man. Like the only thing that was keeping them at bay was the whole 1980 stuff, but that it just dude barking. Like it's rough.
Yeah.
Hot lighting in a jar. He's ahead of the curve. Other teams, they're not. I mean,
Yeah, once they embraced the transfer portal, it hurt him.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of things. There's going to be a lot of like depending on where this goes. Man, what an interesting case study of a roller coaster of a tenure at like a premier college football brand.
Yeah.
Like where it ends up. Like I said, they got all they could overachieve. They could win. He could recapture magic on the trail. This is by no means like a death sentence or anything, but
No.
wherever it goes, positive or negative, man, there were little inflection points kind of littered throughout the way. Man, is it going to be an interesting kind of retrospective,
Not
right?
pulling away from Miami and Florida when they were going through the coaching turnover.
Yeah,
Jimbo,
and
Jimbo did that well, man. He pounced on Miami and Florida recruiting wise when they were
yeah,
struggling.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
but these two Georgia fans, they couldn't have been nicer. I know you're like, oh, screw that. They couldn't have been nicer, and they go, you're paying this kid. Well, first before that, they said, this kid is the truth. And he goes, I coach in the area. I know the kid. I've known him.
Oh, okay.
It is the truth. Like, I wish we had him tomorrow.
All the reports, man. That's what it
Yeah,
seems
he's like,
like
I wish
too.
we had him tomorrow against Notre Dame. I'm like, you'll probably be okay. They ended up losing, but I said, listen, we obviously need the help. He goes, you're paying him X amount of dollars a month. I said, like, you guys can't stroke that check.
Don't talk to you. Don't talk.
Yeah,
to
I said, and then it was a funny conversation back and forth. They go,
Yeah.
no, bottom line, like, they were like raving about this kid.
Yeah, I think with good reason, man. So that's
Nice to hear like people kind of like that versus like the recruiting experts. Like they're like, dude, I coach in the area. I know that kid.
Sure, absolutely, man.
Oh, well, we didn't get him.
Yeah.
I was like, come on. After the year we had, he's like, I don't care what year you
Dude.
had. Like, I don't care what.
Throw us a bone, man.
Yeah. So back to our quarterback, old Tommy C. I was blown away by those quotes. I don't want to say pissed off. I'm old and I'm old school. I was always taught you don't give bulletin board material to the other team.
I went through the gamut of emotions on this, right? So when I first saw it, I was fucking horrified. I had to check. I had to see if it was like Nutsack Sports or fucking like No 3 or Noles 246 or like
right.
Yeah, like I was like, this can't be. And then they fucking came like boom, 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 and they were real. So the first one was like, Nick Saban's not here to save you, and I'm like, fuck, man, why'd you do like? Because as a Florida State fan too, I'm very sensitive to embarrassment. Like it's been either MLK and Nike Vapor gloves or like us talking shit about SMU before they brain us in Dallas in front of like 20,000 people.
Oh, we can go through the gamut.
It's bad. So I'm sensitive to embarrassment, rightly or wrongly. So I look at the quotes and I start to think, I go, okay, there's one that is just, I can't defend it, but the two about like the playing, like I don't like the one about him like carrying his team or whatever, or however right or wrong, and people looked into the number. Yeah, I was like, okay, but really. the confidence in beating Alabama as the leader of the team, and he seems like somebody from all reports and all communications has integrated and ingratiated himself really well into that team. So if the leader of your team thinks that is what is going to motivate his guys and give them the best chance of victory, I can defer to that. It's not, I wanted to sneak up on him because I think Mike Norvell is a sneaky game one, like a really good week one head coach. And I think you had the potential. They're very, very talented, but they're working out some kinks like new quarterbacks and things like that. Right. So you had the potential to kind of sneak up on him as much as a Florida State and Alabama game could. Yeah. But if that guy ultimately in the wash, if they were going to fuck you up, they were going to fuck you up anyway, right? So are these comments going to matter? I don't know. It's a risky, you open yourself up to like a lot of criticism, but if that's what this guy thinks he needs, like get the best play from his teammates, cool. The one that's wild, dude, is like he's jumping in front of the bullets and like the pink slips for like Mike and everybody else. Like, listen, you broke bitch. I'm gonna save your job. Like,
you millionaire coaches, I got you.
oh, that was, dude. That I don't care. Like, I'd need to see a charitable representation of that fucking quote. Whether it, like, obviously, his success this season.
Like,
this season is make or break. But dude,
if I'm Mike, I'm calling him in my office. Listen here, you little.
It's wild. I
would have been livid if I was Norvell. Who the hell are you to talk about my job status?
Wild fucking quote, dude. Wild quote.
And you know what?
Yeah.
These coaches get paid so well, and the success, the money they get paid, that's not his concern. Whether they're there next year or not.
No,
you're not there next year.
And dude, who knows, man? Maybe that's the mojo. That's the aura. He's aura farming, as they say on the streets. Like, maybe that's the confidence that he needs to exude from his pores. I don't know.
You said it to Pete Nakos, who's like the recruiting and portal guy.
Yeah, I don't fucking, dude.
It wasn't like you said it to like Brett McMurphy or somebody, Kirk Herbstreit, or not that I like that guy, but you know what I mean. Someone like really big in that world, and all of a sudden you just start spewing stuff.
I don't know what they did, if they were like, if he had a too many Appletinis with pesky Pete Nakos or what, dude. But like, my guy had some loose lips. Like, we are talking.
I thought I read the first quote. I'm like, all right, this is bad. We'll move on. Then I see 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm like, oh. And Pete Nakos said he just asked me like a question, like, hey, how you getting ready for Alabama? Yeah, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's like, so how you think you're gonna do in game 1? Kalen DeBoer sucks dick. It was like,
yeah, and then what's not talked about that much is his OC from Washington, who it was DeBoer's offense, but ran it to a T and took a lot of the pressure off him. Is at Alabama again this year? Not again, but
what's it? Grubb, right? Is that his name?
Yeah, he went with him to Alabama and then left right away to go to the Seahawks.
Yeah, and man,
that takes a lot of pressure off him. They speak the same language.
And it's a very tough scheme to defend. I keep thinking about that game with Washington, man. Just all the motion, like it's.
And
I don't know.
Last year with Jalen Hurts, whatever his name was,
Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe. Okay, so I was close, but they couldn't do it as much last year with him.
No, and
they have more of a pro style with Simpson. I don't know how our DBs cover some of these receivers at Bama.
That'll be tough. Like I said, that's the thing.
Is a stud.
Yeah. Once you start looking at
the other side,
if you start looking at the individual player breakdowns and the talent, then I mean that's something that we're going to do at Noles 24/7, X's and O's, all that.
I'm going to be promoting, but
yeah, I don't know, man.
You got to catch them with some turnovers.
Yeah, for sure. You're allowed to play over your head. You're allowed to play over your head, and you're allowed to surprise them.
Football is one of those weird and rare sports where I could be coaching one team and you're coaching another, and my talent is so much better, but I get a ton of penalties and 3 or 4 turnovers. All of a sudden, that gap.
Oh yeah. Well, you're talking about describing Florida State's season last year. We were a lot more talented than a lot of teams that beat the shit out of us.
That's true. But I'm talking about teams that are competent, but that's another thing with Mike because I don't think he handled the snub well. I think it showed where he should have just said, you know what, this is going to piss me off, and I'm coming back and I'm bringing hell with me. And he played him and his staff on the recruiting trail just figured they had it made, and we're going to put on a polo.
Yeah, it's such a tough thing. It's such a tough thing as a football coach, and that's really once you start seeing like the cracks and like we talked about with the whole media policy or whatever. That's a foundational ethos that's changed. When you're a football coach, the one thing that you can always like rely on, and it was something that we relied on as fans at the time. They relied on as a coaching staff. Is like I go out and do what I'm supposed to do on the field and win. That's all that matters. Like in the end, this is a game. This is a meritocracy. I had the shittiest hand dealt to me that could be dealt to me, and I still went out and won every single game that I played. And that's all I have to do. And then they told you, no, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's true. But I would have said
that's enough to break. I mean, it broke a fan base.
It broke him. It broke the more athletic center. from what I heard.
Yeah, of course, and and that's
I
why
think he was kind of like, just get me a receiver, Derek. Just get me whoever. The evals and the work that he put in recruiting, as far as like analysis, he answered my question once. Stuff I've thought of, but it was cool to hear from him. Was I said, listen, you're an offensive guy. I know that. When you're recruiting defensive players, what do you look for?
Yeah.
And he got really into the answer, and he even said, I hope there's no Miami or Florida fans here. And then he said, he just basically talked about, he looks, because Tatum Bethune was in the room, and he's like, that guy right there, I know he was a great player at UCF, but I went back to his high school film. And he talked about, if a guy gets a sack, if the whole defense comes to celebrate with him, that says more than maybe one person or nobody.
Or like
He was
Bo
always,
Callahan, nobody came to his birthday type stuff.
Bo Callahan, nobody.
Yeah.
He was going on about that for a while.
He's a passionate dude, man. So
Yeah,
we'll
he
see.
still is.
Can it be harnessed? He didn't forget how to coach, right? That's why last year was so shocking. So we will see, Jeremy. We will see together. It is a year of unknown.
Yeah, that's why I'm going in with no expectations. I feel better that way.
I think it's healthy.
Yeah, that's, you know what? That's the best way to deal with it, especially after Tommy C. But I had a Miami fan the other day say to me, "Man, I thought you were going to lose by 20. Now it's 40." I was like, "Thanks," but I've had about 5 or 6 Miami fans say, "I can't believe your quarterback did that."
Yeah, whatever, dude.
And I was like, I said, "Could it get much worse after last year?" All right, maybe, but that's not the point.
Yeah, dude.
What's that?
I don't need to hear any fucking commentary from those people, bro. They haven't done shit in 2.5 decades, man.
I'm like, you're telling me this?
Yeah, it's like I'm good, dude. Like, just fucking kneel the ball, get out of my face. Like, just shut up, dude.
I was outnumbered there.
I don't need fucking pity from you guys.
Yeah, I know they're talking about, we got Florida this year. I'm like,
yeah, dude.
That one I jumped in on, and I like these people. I knew them.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah.
I knew them, so I kind of do this. And he gets,
yeah, sure.
What? I was like, about time. He's like, we played them last year. I'm like, oh, 2 years in a row, and then you go 25 without playing each other.
Exactly.
And but in fairness to them, it's not their fault. I think it was always Florida's. But we'll see. Who knows? At this point, I don't think they care. But man, I will not keep you all night. I promised.
Oh, dude, I had a blast, man. It was
I had
awesome.
a blast too, man. Well, please, like, anytime, man, you just want to vent about Florida State football. But I'm gonna put the link to your X's and Noles stuff and
cool
in the description and everything. And I tell people, like, listen. And the Rowlcast, is it back on podcast, or
we're going? So it's gonna be so it's gonna be for Noles 24/7 members right now. We're gonna record 2, maybe 3 episodes per month. I don't know. We're writing articles over there. The X's and Noles videos too. They're gonna be for Noles 24/7 subscribers for, I think there's like a period of like a day or 2 days, things like that. So that's gonna include all the breakdowns, all the recruiting, like film analysis. I believe the instant reactions are gonna be that way too. So if you guys really want to get on Noles247.com, they're really making a concerted effort to make that membership mean a lot. And if you do, there's a code XSNOLES247, XSNOLES247. Hit all that stuff. That's where the Rowlcast is going to be. It's full bore. Like, we're getting guests back. I don't know if I could talk to my old plugs at the old Boner Chews and the old Dick Clippers. Maybe start getting the ad reads back. Like, if I don't get any sponsors, I'll just make up fake products and just so I can do my French President Emmanuel Macron voice. We're going back full. We're going back full bore. And then, of course, dude, if you want to see some professionals, some adults, that's the X's and Noles content. I'm just the mere host. Those two vibrant savant football personalities, Adam and Kev, you will learn a lot. But I've had a blast, dude. It's very cool to see the growth of your channel. It's cool to see your adventures. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a metal guy, a Florida State fan. So I'm living vicariously through you as I raise my 3 beautiful young children up to be upstanding citizens. So thank you for the invite. I'm sure we will talk again. I've had a blast.
I hope so. I definitely hope so. And your stuff's on YouTube as well. Going to be on YouTube at some point?
Yeah, there's so the X's and Noles YouTube channel, Noles 24/7 YouTube channel. Just go ahead. That's a ton of content's going to be on there. Subscribe to that only after you subscribe to Rock and Noel and put your subscriptions on for bing, 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 all of them.
See, that's why he's the pro and he's so good at stuff. But Trey, thank you so much, man. It was great to finally meet you like this and talk to you, man.
It was a blast, dude. Like I said, fucking go Noles, man. We deserve
Noles.
it. We deserve dubs.
Yeah. All we can do is just sit back, watch, and hope for the best, man.
Absolutely.
There we go. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys. It was a blast.